Good morning. Welcome to MCSL 016 Internet Concepts and Web Design. And we are discussing Block 1 and Unit 2 that we already discussed, Unit 3 and Unit 4. These three units that we already discussed, and today we are discussing Unit 5 VB script, and I will try to discuss some previous question papers also after completing this VB script. And this is the unit 5 VB script, then introduction, objectives, what is VB script, all these are there. And first part, that is introduction. A VB script is Microsoft's scripting language. So this VB script is developed by Microsoft. I think all of you are familiar with this Microsoft. Microsoft is the company who developed our most famous operating system, that is Windows, and this VB script enables us to write programs that enhance the power of web pages by allowing us to control their behavior. There is no need for much introduction for this scripting language that we already discussed in JavaScript. Okay, this VB script, it's a scripting language, and that's why we are embedding this VB script, this scripting language in HTML. So that we already discussed about how we can embed this scripting language, that is JavaScript, in HTML. The same way we are embedding this VB script in HTML. So you can script blocks anywhere in HTML page. You can use the script, that is the script tag, anywhere in the HTML page. You can put them either in body or in the head section. However, you will probably want to put all general purpose scripting code in the head section in order to keep all the code together. That is the practice. By practice, that we are placing the scripting language in the head section. Keeping your code in the head section ensures that all the code is read and decode before it is needed by any calls from within the body section. Then one notable exception to this rule is that you may want to provide inline scripting code within forms to respond to the events of objects in your form. So if you are using forms in our HTML page, we can use inline scripting codes. Inline scripting codes means we can use it along with the HTML code. This is one example in the right side. Here, form name equal to form1. Then we input a button, and the name of that button is button1, and the value displayed over the button is click. And this is an example for an inline script. Script 4, then button equal to 1, event equal to on click, language equal to VB script. Then here we are using, instead of alert, here we are using MSG box. Then button pressed. And here we close the script by using the / script. This type of script that we call it as inline script code, inline script. Okay, most of your code will appear in either sub or function procedure. In VB script, we are using sub procedures or function procedures, and will be called only when the code you have written causes that function to execute. However, you can write VB script code outside procedure, but still within a script block. So we can write the VB script code outside the procedure, but it will be inside the script block. Then this code is executed only once. If you are writing the script outside this procedure or sub procedure, this code will execute only once when the HTML page loads. This allows you to, what's the use of this? This allows you to initialize data or dynamically change the look of your web page when it loads. So the data types are same as JavaScript. Here also we are using data types in VBScript. VBScript has only one data that we call it as the variant type data. So in VBScript we are using the, normally we are using the data type that is called variant type. There are different types of variant data types are available in VBScript. Then a variant is a special kind of data type that can contain different kinds of information depending on how it is used. So how we can use that data, depending on that, the variant type may vary, because variant is the only data type in VBScript. It is also the data type returned by all functions in VBScript. From functions, all of you, we know that from a function we can return a value. So from function, the return type of the return value is, or the data type of the return value will be variant type. Then at its simplest, a variant can contain either numeric or string information. So depending on the data that we are giving to the variant data type, the type of that data may vary. So if the variable, it's a variant data type, the variable type is variant, and we are giving the value as 100, then automatically it will, the variant data type will change to a numeric data type. Then if you are inserting a string type data within double quotes, for example ignore, then the data type or the data type of that variable, the variant data type of that variable will automatically change to a string type. So a variant behaves as a number when you use it in a numeric context, and as a string when you use it in a string context. So you can always make numbers behave as string by enclosing them in quotation mark. For example, we are giving a equal to within double quotes 100, then it will treat as a string data type. All of you know that. And here we are using b equal to 200, then it will treat as a numeric data type. Then the following table shows the subtypes of data that a variant can contain. So these are the subtypes: empty variant, null variant, boolean, byte, integer. All these are different subtypes of this variant data type. Then you can use conversion function to convert data from one subtype to another. By using some conversion functions are there. From integer we can convert it to string, and from string we can convert it to numeric data type. Some conversion functions are there. By using the conversion function we can change the data type of different data that we are giving. Then variables, VBScript variables. Declaring a variable. By using VBScript, how we can declare a variable? You can declare variable explicitly in your script using the statement dim, D-I-M. The public statement, dim statement, public statement, and private statement. These are the different statements that we can use with VBScript for declaring variables. For example, here dim, this is the keyword, and degrees Fahrenheit is the variable name. So if you want to declare a variable, then we can use the statement dim, the keyword. Then you declare multiple variables by separating each variable name with a comma. Here the keyword dim, and these are the different variables. So top, bottom, left and right. If you are using more variables for declaration, then we can use one dim statement and separate the variables by using comma. Then naming restrictions. All of you are familiar with how we can name a variable. So it must begin with an alphabet character, then cannot contain an embedded period, then not exceed more than 255 characters, must be unique in the scope in which it declared. These are the rules when we are declaring variables. Then scope and lifetime of variables. The scope of a variable is determined by where you declare it. That we discussed in JavaScript also. When you declare a variable within a procedure, we are declaring a variable within a procedure, then only code within that procedure can access or change the value of that variable. That we discussed in the previous class in JavaScript also. Then it has local scope and is called the procedure level variable. Local scope and global scope that we discussed. So here we call it as a procedure level variable. If you declare a variable outside a procedure, you are declaring some variables outside the procedure, you make it visible, accessible to all the procedures in your script. Same as that of JavaScript. That this is a script level variable, that we call it as global variable or script level variable, and it has script level scope. Then assigning values to variable. Then values are assigned to variables, creating an expression as follows. The variable is on the left side. We know that the variable should be in the left side. This is the variable B of the expression, and the value you want to assign to the variable is on the right side. 200 is the value that we are assigning, and with an equal sign being the assignment operator. So here equal sign is the assignment operator. That means B is assigned to the variable, so 200 is assigned to the variable B, and wherever we are using after this, wherever we are using this B means 200. The value of B will be 200. All of you are familiar with this. Then scalar variables and array variables. Then most of the time you just want to assign a single value to a variable you have declared. So a variable containing a single value, that we call it as a scalar variable. If we are, for example, B equal to 200 in the previous slide, we assign 200 to the variable B. So that variable that we call it as scalar variable. At other times it is convenient to assign more than one related value to a single variable. Then you can create a variable that can contain a series of values, and that variable that we call it as array that we discussed in JavaScript also. So array variables and scalar variables are declared in the same way, except that the declaration of an array variable uses parenthesis following the variable name. So in the following example, a single dimension array containing 11 elements is declared as dim A of 10. So here one difference between this JavaScript array variable and in VB script is, although the number shows in the parenthesis is 10, so dim A of 10, all arrays in VB script are counted from 0. That we know in all the programming languages, and in JavaScript also we discussed. In JavaScript also, when we are declaring an array variable, the base or the index starting from 0, so that this array actually, but in VB script it starts from 0, not up to n minus 1, but up to n. So that it array actually contain how many elements? 0 to 10 means total 11 elements. This is, I think, in VB script only, I think this type of declaration is available. Or in Microsoft, VB means the expansion of VB means Visual Basic. So in Visual Basic or in .NET or VB.NET, all these we are using this type of arrays. When we are declaring an array, for example, it starts from 0 to that number. So in such an array, the number of array elements is always the number shown in parenthesis plus 1. So if you are declaring an array of size 10, then the total values that we can store in that array is 10 plus 1, that is 11. This kind of array is called fixed size array. So other types arrays are also available in VB script. Then assign data to each of the element of the array using an index into the array beginning at 0 and ending at 10, not n minus 1. Data can be assigned to the element of an array as follows. we know that A of 0 equal to 256. That's the zeroth element of the array. Then 1, 2 up to A of 10 equal to 55. But in JavaScript we can enter only up to A of 9. It's not possible to enter A of 10. So similarly, the data can be retrieved from any element using the index into the particular array element, that is some variable equal to A of 8. Then it will store what is the value in A of 8 will be stored in the variable some variable. Okay. Arrays are not limited to a single dimension. So we know that we are familiar with C. So in C language we are using multi-dimensional array. So here in VBScript also we can use multi-dimensional array. You can have as many as 60 dimensions in VBScript, although most people cannot comprehend more than 3. Normally we are using double dimension array, up to double dimension array, but we can use up to 60 dimensions in VBScript. So multiple dimensions are declared by separating an array size number in the parenthesis with commas. For example, this is an example, dim. Then my table 5, 10. That means 5 rows and 10 columns. In a two-dimensional array, the first number is always the number of rows. The second number is the number of columns. Well, if you are familiar with this declaring double-dimensional array. So you can also declare an array whose size changes while your script is running. I think it is available only in this VBScript and Visual Basic. You can declare an array whose size changes while your script is running. This is called a dynamic array. The array is initially declared within a procedure using either the dim statement or redim statement. We can use declaring an array, we can use this dim statement or redim statement. However, for a dynamic array, no size or number of dimension is placed inside the parenthesis. While we are declaring, just we are using an empty parenthesis. For example, dim my array. If it's a dynamic array, you just give an empty parenthesis like dim my array empty parenthesis, redim, then another array empty parenthesis. There is no need for giving the size inside the parenthesis. So to use a dynamic array, you must subsequently use redim to determine the number of dimensions and the size of each dimension. Then after declaring this array, before using it, you have to specify the size of the array by using the statement redim. A subsequent redim statement resizes the array. Here redim sets the initial size of the dynamic array to 25 by using redim my array of 25. Then redim preserve my array of 30 means what? But if we are using preserve keyword along with the redim statement, then what will happen? The array is already declared and some values are over there. First we declare a dynamic array, then after that we initialize the array with some values. For example, dim my array empty parenthesis, then after that before using the array we redim that array by using redim my array of 25. Then we entered some data in that array. So some 10 data that we have entered in that array. Then after that we want to change the size. We want to increase the size of the array by 5. That means now the array size is 25 and we want to change that array size to 30. But some data are inside that array. Means example 10 data that we already entered into that array. But if we want to preserve that data while we are increasing the size of the array, then what we want to do, we have to use the keyword preserve before changing the size of the array. If you are not using the preserve keyword, then what will happen? If data inside that array is already there, then it will be removed. Okay, so here preserve keyword to preserve the content of the array as the resize takes place. Then VBScript constants. A constant is a meaningful name that takes place of a number or string and never changes it. That's why we call it as constants. Variables are there and constants are there. Constant means For example, we know the value of pi, the value of pi equal to 3 point, okay, some value is there, so that will not be changed. Other example, today's date, that will not be changed. So if you want to give some, or if you want to declare some constants, then you create user defined constants in VB script using the keyword const statement, const. So this is the keyword const, const, then my string is the name of the string, then equal to this is my string, it will not change. Then const my age equal to 49, it will also will not be changed. Wherever we are using this my age, all the time the value will be 49, then my age equal to my age plus 1, or it is not possible because we declared it as a constant. Then note that the string literal is enclosed in quotation mark, that we know. If you are using a string literal, other name of this constant is called literal. If you are using a string constant or string literal, then what we want to do, we can use the delimiter as double quotes. Then if you are using a date, then the delimiter should be this hash symbol. Okay, const cutoff date equal to, then you can use along with a date, this hash delimiter can use along with the date. Then VB script operators that we discussed in JavaScript also, arithmetic operators are there, comparison operators are there, logical operators are there, but in VB script some changes are there. So here exponential caret that you can use, unary negative, that is minus, multiplication, division, integer division, here we are using this is the integer division. Then mode operator for getting the remainder, we are using mod here, mod. Then addition, subtraction, no change. String concatenation in JavaScript, we are using this concatenation. For concatenation we are using this plus symbol. Here we are using this ampersand symbol. All of you are familiar with this. Concatenation means combining different types of data, that is called concatenation. For that we are using here we are using this ampersand symbol for concatenation. So then equality operator, we are using equal sign. Then inequality, not equal to, in JavaScript we are using not equal to, here we are using less than and greater than symbol together, that is inequality, not equal to. Then less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, all are same. Then logical negation, the symbol is not. Logical conjunction, in JavaScript we use this one, and not exclamation. Then logical disjunction, XOR, then all these are in, it's also in your text, they just go through. Then conditional statements, if then else statements. So in JavaScript we use if, then we use the braces, here we are using if then else statement. Then select case statement, here we are using. Example, sub means sub procedure, it's a sub procedure. Fixed date, opening closing bracket, here there is no need for putting braces in between. Normally if you are using JavaScript, you are using this braces over here. In VB script there is no need of this braces. So it end with, normally in JavaScript the function will end with the close brace. Here the procedure will end with end sub. Here use sub, then procedure, sub procedure name, then end with end sub. So dim my date, so we declared a variable named my date, then my date equal to #2 1395. So it will automatically, the variant type data, variant type variable will be automatically changed to date type data if you are using this hash delimiter in dates. Then if my date less than now means today's date. So then you are using that if then my date equal to now. If my date less than now, then my date equal to now. So in JavaScript we used like this, if then within brackets my date less than date function or now, for example now function. We are using this much of things. Then after that only one statement, then we are not using the open brace and close brace. My date equal to now. So in JavaScript we are using this, but in VB script we are using this. If my date less than now, here there is no open no parenthesis in between if. Then after that we use the then statement, then variable. Here you use then, and here there is no only one statement is there inside this if, so there is no need for using this open brace and close brace. So to return more than one line of code, you must use the multiple line or block syntax. This syntax includes the end if statement as shown in the following example. So if you want to use more than one statement, for example, if value equal to 0, then if here we are using multiple statements, only one statement is there, then you can write that statement along after this end. For example, if value equal to 1, then alert label dot focus for color equal to, like that you can use it. But here we are using, if this condition is true, then we are using more than one statement. So you have to use an end if. First you can use if value equal to 0, then alert label dot for color equal to VB red, alert label dot font dot bold equal to true, alert label dot font dot italic equal to true. Then you should use this end if statement. Okay, here there is no open brace and close brace. Here you can use end if statement. These are two words, end and if are two words. Then running certain statements if a condition is true, and running other if a condition is false, if then else statement. So if value equal to, here there is no equal to, here only if the value equal to 0. In C, C++, Java, JavaScript, we are using double equal to, and within we using it within parenthesis. So here value equal to 0, then alert dot label equal to VB red, like that. If the value is not 0, then we are using the else statement, ELSE, else alert label equal for color, another thing. Then we should use end if statement. So this is the sub procedure, and end with end sub. Then deciding between several alternatives. So if value equal to 0, then MSG box some value, else if, that is a single word, ELSEIF, else if. Value equal to 1, then MSG box. MSG box means alert. Instead of an alert, we are using MSG message box, MSG box value. Else if, then we can use another value, else means it's not 0, it's not 1, it's not 2, then this will be executed. Else, only one else value out of range. Here also we want to use this end if. End if is two words. Here else if one word. The next one, switch statement. So select case. Here we are using select case. Then the condition. What is the condition that we can use it here? Document dot form one dot card type dot option of select index dot text, anything that we can use over there. If the value of this is MasterCard, then display MC logo, then validate MCA account. Here there is no break statement. There is no colon after case. Case Visa, then some statements are there. Case American Express, some statements are there. Then here we used the default, then colon. Here we use case else. Then here the end select. Select case, end select. This is the difference. Here there is no break statement. Then okay, no colon. Then looping through codes, do loop. loops while or until a condition is true. Do loop, while when loop, for next loop, for each next. These are the loop statements that we can use with VB script. Do loop, we will explain. So, first one, sub procedure, check first while. Here there is no brace. Then declare two variables, counter and my number. Initialize the counter with 0 and my number with 20. Then do while my number, my num greater than 10. Here is no brace. Then my num equal to my num minus 1, counter equal to counter plus 1. What are things that we can do? In between this do and loop, we can insert it. And end with the, start with the do while and end with the loop. Then MSG box, the loop made anyway. Then another type of looping statement or iteration statement is do. Then some conditions are there or some initializations are there. Then loop while my num greater than 0. So this type of loop that we call it as entry controlled loop. Then another, there are two types of loops are there that in C, C++, then Java, entry controlled loop and exit controlled loop. Entry controlled loop means in the before entering into that loop, it will check the condition. Then exit controlled loop means it will check the condition in the last part or this exit part. So these are the two types of loops, do while loop and do loop while. Then another type of loop, do until loop. Do until my number equal to, my num equal to 10. Then end with the loop. Then next one, do loop until. This is another type of loop that is available in VB script. Do until loop, then do loop until. Then exiting a do loop. So in JavaScript, we discussed how we can exit a loop, exit a iteration or loop. It's possible by using two statements, break and continue. Break will exit the immediate, exit the loop and it will move out of the immediate loop, and continue, it will continue the next iteration. So here, do until this is the loop, and if you want to exit from a loop, then we are using the statement exit do. Do until this is the loop. If some condition is true, then what we want to do? We want to exit from the loop. For that we are using exit do. JavaScript, Java and C, C++ we are using break and continue. Here we are using exit do. Then using for next, for loop, normal for loop, for x equal to 1 to 50. So in JavaScript we are using for I equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus, like that. Here we are using for variable initialization. Here there is no parenthesis. For dim x, that we already declared the variable x. Then for x equal to 1, then it will automatically change to a number type variable. X equal to 1 to 50 means the loop will continue up to the value of x gets 50. Then my PROC, my procedure, the procedure will call then next x. If you are using the keyword x, then also it will work. If you are using only next, then also it will work. So for x equal to 1 to 50, this is the normal. That means x equal to 1, x less than or equal to 50, x plus plus. Then here j equal to 2 to 10. 2 to 10. Step 2 means, what is the meaning of steps 2? The first value of j will be 2, then the next value will be not 2 plus 1 but 2 plus 2. If you are using the increment of 1, there is no need for using this step variable. Here also, if you want, we can use step 1 or plus 1 we can use, but there is no need. If you are the difference is only 1, then there is no need for using this step 1. So if you want to use, or if you are using an increment or decrement other than 1, then we should use the step along with the for looping statement. Then end with the next. Here we are not use that next j. If you are using, there is no problem, but it is not mandatory. Then for my num, this is 16 to 2. Starting number is 16 and we want to decrement by minus 2, step minus 2. Then the first time the value will be 16, next time the value will be 14, next time the value will be like that, 12, like that, up to 2. Then procedures, VB script, Visual Basic, VB script procedures. In VB script there are two kinds of procedures. First one is called sub procedure and second one is called function procedure. So in VB script and also Visual Basic we are using sub procedures, two kinds of procedures we are using. The first type that we call it as sub procedure and second type we call it as function procedure. Then what is the basic difference between this sub procedure and the function procedure? The basic difference between this sub procedure and function procedure is, from a sub procedure nothing will return. If you are using a sub procedure we can't return. So if you are using a function procedure, then we can use return statement and we can use return values. This is the basic difference between this sub procedure and function procedure. So sub procedure. A sub procedure is a series of VB script statements enclosed by sub and end sub. Sub and end sub statements. That sub and end sub. This is we should read together. End sub statements that perform action but do not return a value. Then a sub procedure can take arguments. Like this function procedure, in sub procedure also you can give arguments. It may be a constant, it may be a variable, or it may be an expression that passed to a procedure. So if a sub procedure has no argument, then its sub statement must include an empty parenthesis. So example, sub convert temperature. Here there is no argument that we are giving, so we should use an empty parenthesis. End with end sub. Then next type of procedure that is function procedure. A function procedure is a series of VB script statements like sub procedure enclosed by the keyword function and end with the end function statement. A function procedure is similar to a sub procedure but can also return a value. A function procedure can take argument. It may be a constant variable, it's an expression. So if a function procedure has no argument, like sub procedure, the function statement must include an empty set of parentheses. Then a function returns a value by assigning a value to its name. How that we can return? Here we are not using the return statement, but instead of that we are using the function name, assigning a value to its name in one or more statement of the procedure. The return type of a function is always a variant that we already discussed. It's a variant type. Here sub procedure with end sub. This is a function procedure. So Celsius, this is the name of the function Celsius, and this is the argument that we are passing. Then Celsius equal to f degrees minus 32 into 5 by 2 n function. So here instead of return statement return, here we used the name of the function. So here this is a function definition. This is the function definition, and here this is the function call. So temperature TMB equal to input box. Input box means that we are using it for collecting some data from user. Please enter the temperature in degrees F. Then default value is 1. Here we are using the default value 1. And MSG box, the temperature is, then here we called the function Celsius, and the argument that we collected in this temperature will be passed to that function definition. So the return value, for returning the value, the result, we are using the same function name equal to, then we can use the statement, and that result will be returned back to this calling function. So this is the way that we can declare a function procedure and return the value from a function procedure. Then dictionary objects in VBScript. The dictionary object stores data as key item pairs. So if we are storing data in dictionary items, we are not entering to this dictionary object just this much, just only one slide. So the dictionary object stores data as key and item pairs. We are using a key and an item pair when we are using the dictionary object. Items which can be any form of data, any type of data that we can use as item are stored in the array. Each item is associated with a unique key. That is the main thing. Each item is associated with a unique key. The key is used to retrieve an individual item and is usually an integer or a string. So the key, what's the use of this key? This key is used for retrieving the item from the array, but can be anything except array. Normally we are using an integer, or we can use string, or we can use any type of data except an array for this key. Then ERR object, that this also we discussed in JavaScript also, we discussed this error object. The VBScript ERR object contains information about runtime errors. So we are using this ERR object. This contains the information about a runtime errors. All of you are familiar with this runtime errors. The procedure of the ERR object are set by the generator of an error. So that is Visual Basic. An automation object or the VBScript programmer. So the properties of the ERR object are set by either Visual Basic or an automation object or the programmer, the VBScript programmer. The default property of the ERR object is number, that we are giving it as ERR.number, contains an integer and can be used by the automation object to return an S code. So when a runtime error occurs, the properties of the ERR object are filled with information that uniquely identifies the error and information that can be used to handle it. Here one example, is a sub procedure. Then on error resume next means if some error occurred in between, then what we want to do? Don't stop the execution, then it can be resumed. So for I equal to 1 to 35, then ERR.clear means if some errors are occurred, then that will be cleared by using the ERR.clear. Then ERR.raise I, then MSG box ERR description. So if some errors occur, then it will be some error text is there, error number is there. So error text here we call it as ERR.description. Then ERR.number. That error description should have an error number, that is also displayed over here. Here we use the concatenation symbol ampersand I. So these are, I think this is the end of this slide. So in your examination, when we know that we have only a practical examination for this MCSL, that's why we call it as MCSL lab, MCSL 016, and one question will be there are only two questions are there for your practical examination that we are going to discuss, and one question will be writing like this, write a program by using VBScript or JavaScript. It will always it will ask like that. So if you want to completely omit this VBScript, then you can omit it. There is no problem because it will ask like that. We will discuss around 3 or 4 question papers in the previous sections, and then you can understand that this is the way the question is asking. So this is the end of this slide, and if you have any doubt regarding this VB script, you can ask it right now that we completed our VB script entire class